to Japan, wear it. This is how we do it now. Come on, let me show it now. Sing. What's up, beautiful jellyfish? It's Tracy. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch my video. Today I'm going to be doing a real talk for you guys, talking about EDH decks and power level. And I was actually, I got inspired to do this when I was playing, this past weekend? Oh my gosh, I don't even know what my life is anymore. Like, I'm so consumed by, schoolwork that I don't know what I haven't been doing, anything else with my life, which is why there, haven't been videos, because I've been so focused on schoolwork. But, this past weekend, I hung out with, my friends and we were playing EDH, and I noticed a really interesting thing. And also, I was talking to someone who commented on my videos. We're talking about, our play groups and how they're different, and this is a really, really weird thing to talk about, because EDH is one of those really weird formats. And I'm not saying weird isn't bad, I'm just saying that when you think about a format like Modern or Legacy or Standard, those are very sort of concrete formats. In you build these decks and you make them competitive and you go places and you do that. That's what you do. But EDH, since it doesn't really have an official place, for a lot of people, they're like, oh, well, you just go and play EDH, and it's, a lot of times, it's more of a casual thing. It doesn't have to be. There's some people who can play this competitively, but for the most part, EDH has to become, is one of the most, least competitive sort of things. Like I said, some playgroups, that's their competitive thing, but for my friends in my playgroup, that's how we view EDH as. A lot of the people that I play with, that's how they see it, because they're like, okay, we have our competitive sort of thing, and that's what we do. And the thing that's interesting, though, is how a lot of people will make EDH decks more competitive. And it's a really interesting sort of thing, because I was looking up lists actually last night on, so I have my Tasker EDH deck, and there was a couple of cards in there that I was kind of I just kind of want to take them out of the deck. They're just not really working in the deck that well, and it was just a couple. It was maybe 7 cards or something. And I was looking up other Tasker decks to get inspiration for what cards I may want for the deck, and a lot of the decks that I saw were running these modern staples like Vendilion Click and Snapcaster Mage and these really high expensive cards, and I was wow, I would not run cards like that I wouldn't even think to run cards like that in my EDH decks. And again, there's some people who do, and that's fine, and I'm not saying that's fine, but I'm really saying that the weird thing I think in EDH is that the difference between, I think there's 2 different types of people in EDH that I've seen. The people who consider it the more casual format and the people who do have the more competitive thing. And I think that when you're a casual player and you go into a play group and they're playing with these competitive decks and you don't have a competitive deck, it's kind of weird. Whereas if I sat down with someone and then we both have competitive Modern decks, say I have an Affinity deck and they have a Splinter Twin deck, it's okay, cool, we're gonna play. We know that these are both really powerful decks in the format, let's play. But it's not really so much of the case with EDH that I found. So, when, back in the summer, when I started to hang out with, kind of different people who were playing EDH, because over the summer I hung out a lot at my local game store, and I played EDH with a very different group of people from my friends. Now, I was playing in a play group where we were we're not gonna do infinite combos, we're not gonna do this super silly stuff that a lot of people have fun with in EDH. Our play group said, we don't like this, we're not gonna do this. And we actually had kind of an issue with one of our friends who, his whole deal was that he worked at my local game store for a little bit, and his deck started to get more competitive because he was keeping up with a different group. And again, that was fine. It's just that our groups, our EDH decks are not $500. They're not this sort of competitive thing, because we view EDH as a more fun thing. And of course, there's going to be some competitive, of course, there's going to be politics and things like that. So anyway, so we had some issues with that, and the whole thing, it got resolved. Everything is okay with that now, but when I went in the summer, I was playing with these people, and I felt like my decks were not competitive enough. They were not at all, things that were going to compete with people. And ever since then, I've kind of felt this notion that I need to make my EDH decks way more competitive to, match up with these people. I don't think it's a problem. I don't think anyone should feel compelled to make something more competitive. I do and I don't, because I don't like the whole notion that, people should feel like the cards that they're running, are not good. And this is such a weird topic, I don't even know if I'm making sense right now, but I was in a conversation with one of my really good friends, and he was saying how he's he respects casual players so much. And he's like, I think casual players are awesome. He's like, there's this one guy who like will sometimes bring, he's like a rat deck, like, and he'll bring it to like modern like events and stuff like that, like occasionally, not a lot. And he'll like sometimes just beat like these, you know, these like top decks. And people were like, oh man, can you believe that? I just lost to this really bad deck. And my friend Tyler was saying, he's like, I think that's awesome. He's like, this guy builds like this non-traditional deck and just does really well. And to be honest, that's how I felt like when I had my black-white tokens deck together. And I mean, still do have the deck together, but when I play that a lot, like, people were like, oh man, I lost to tokens. Like, no one plays that deck. That deck's not good. And I like got into top 8, so like, what are you gonna do about that? So, I don't know. I think like, I feel like I just talked about like 18 different things and I just don't know if any of that made sense. But I don't know, I don't like the whole notion that there's such this divide between that. Like, one of my friends also, who I go to school with here, was saying, he was like, I feel like you guys are just like so much better at Magic than I am. And I was like, okay, you're a casual player. That is completely different from being this sort of like competitive like type of thing. I was like, it's completely different. I was like, I build different decks because I have to build these decks to be competitive. Like, I'm not playing this game, you know, casually anymore. Like I said, like, and you know, it's such a weird thing that it's like, I don't feel like a lot of players like understand that. And like, I think casual players are like totally fine. If you want to play Magic competitively, that's totally fine. Play Magic competitive. Wait, did I just say casually or competitively? I don't remember. Do whatever you want. Moral of the story. If you want to be competitive, be competitive. If you want to be casual, be casual. Don't discourage other people from what the things that they want to do. Just don't be mean. Like, that is like, okay, so on my campus, I play this game called Humans vs. Zombies. It's really great. We run around with Nerf blasters. It's awesome. Our number one rule in this game is don't be mean. Like, that is our number one rule. So like, that is the same rule in Magic. Don't be mean to other people. Let them do their thing and let them do whatever it is that they want to do and play the cards that they want to play. You know, they may not be running like these best cards or like whatever, but like if they're having fun with it and they're not trying to be like that kid with the guy with the rats deck, he's not trying to be competitive. Let him do what he wants. Like, let him play these competitive, you know, not like super competitive, I shouldn't say that, but like those Friday night like type events or whatever. Like, let him play his rat deck and like wreck some people. Like, I think that's super awesome and now I want to see it. So I don't know, I just don't like the whole thing like, you're not playing a competitive deck, your deck's not good. That like really bothers me. I don't like it when people say that. I don't like it when people like discourage other people. That makes me really mad. I think that was it. That this video was completely all over the place, but these were just some thoughts that I wanted to kind of talk to you guys about in this video. Yeah, so that was pretty much it. I think that was all I was gonna say. My phone died. Like, I don't know what happened. Okay, I do know what happened. I dropped my phone like a lot, but it like, okay, I've had this phone for like 2.5 years, and I was like, my mom's like, do I need a new phone after like our contract was up? And I was like, no, it's fine, like, it'll be okay. Okay, there's a reason why phones have like a 2-year mark, like, date. There's a reason for that, for people like me who do bad things and drop their phone a lot. The deal is that my case broke, and then I got my mom's case, and that broke. So moral of the story is I didn't have a case on it, and then it just dropped so much, and then it just fell apart. So I need to get a new phone because I'm without one right now, and that's like really bad. So yeah, that happened. One of my students that I tutor gave me Oreos today, and it made me really happy. He was like, thank you for tutoring me, have a gift. And I said, you didn't need to get me anything, and he got me Oreos, and it made me really happy because I love Oreos, and I was like, this is great. So I have Oreos now, and that makes me really happy because they're like one of my favorite snacks. They're so, I don't care how unhealthy they are. Oreos are A+, let me tell you.